All right, I am live. Hello, everyone who was able to make it to live for 25 with Jennifer Carey, the Illuminator. Those of you who are in the Northeast, it's hot everywhere. I have a friend in Oregon, and there's like a heat dome there. So those of you who are in the Northeast, we're facing some really, really warm and humid days. But I'm so grateful for those of you who can make it to tonight's live for 25 with the Illuminator. I'm just going to be here for 25 minutes, so until 7:40. And specifically tonight, I really wanted to talk about getting to know what makes you happy, learning what brings you joy. And so that's what I'm going to talk about today. I realize that a lot of times I talk about following your dreams and following your joy, but you don't always know what that is. And that's what happens. Sometimes clients will say to me, I don't know what I want. I don't know what is speaking to my heart. And so I'm hoping today I'm just giving quick and easy tips. Oh, thank you, Denise. Denise says she loves this topic. I'm just going to give quick and easy tips that will help you get to know what you want more. There are ways that we do get information and signals about what brings us joy. And my hope is that in discussing these steps today, that you will be able to get closer or clearer to what brings you joy. At the end, those of you who have been able to be here for Live for 25 with the Illuminator, at the end, if you have participated the whole time, your name gets put into a drawing and you can choose whether to have an oracle card pulled for you, or I can prescribe a song for you. So that's kind of fun. I love when people can interact on here and just share any questions you have about what I'm sharing or anything that's coming up for you. It makes everything so much more fun and engaging and rich and all that good stuff. So can anyone relate to not knowing? So maybe you can just say yes or whatever in the comments. Can you relate to not knowing what you want? Or can you relate to not knowing what brings you joy? Anyone out there can say that they understand that. They understand what I have been describing today, that many of my clients have shared with me, where they're not even sure they know what they want, or they're not even sure they know what brings them joy or makes them happy. So the first thing is, if you do feel that way, if you feel like, I don't know, maybe you knew at one time and you don't know anymore. Maybe you feel like you never knew or have never known what has made you happy. One of those things. If you feel that way, oh, Denise, good point. So she's like, yes, but more like which one to pursue. So which joy to pursue. Interesting. I hope by the end of this, you feel clearer about that. The first step in discovering or rediscovering what makes you happy or what brings you joy is just intending on wanting to know that. So putting out a clear intention. I want to know what makes me happy. I want to know what brings me joy. Simply by setting that intention, you're going to start getting more information about what brings you joy just by stating that. So that is the first step. Just, I want to learn more about what brings me joy. I want to learn more about what makes me happy in this life. So that's the first step. So for those of you who feel like, yes, that is true, write in the comments, I want to learn what makes me happy. I want to learn what brings me joy. And for you, Denise, maybe it's, I want to learn which thing that brings me joy is what I should pursue. Okay. So the next step is really being open to receiving joy. And I want to talk about that a little bit more. So it's hard to imagine that we block joy or we block happiness, but we do. Any one of us that carries a story, right? Illuminating the stories that bind us. Any one of us that carries a story that maybe they don't deserve joy, or maybe they carry a story that it's important to make others happy first. And so they never really get to what makes them happy because they spend time making others happy first instead, right? So some people can relate to that story blocking you from being happy. Sometimes we carry a story that it's not fair. It's not fair for us to be happy and for us to do the things that bring us joy if the other people around us can't do that. Right? It's not exactly survivor's guilt, but it's kind of like, people they're going through a really hard time, and so I shouldn't be happy or pursuing the things that make me happy or bring me joy. So these are all stories, right, that can get in the way of us actually receiving or being open to the things that make us happy or bring us joy. So noting those stories, bringing those stories to light is so important in this process, and opening yourself and knowing that you are deserving and worthy of being happy and of doing the things that bring you joy. If any of you can identify a story that you have that could potentially block you from receiving joy or doing the things that make you happy, please, I'd love for you to share it in the comments. Because remember, just like my podcast, Illuminating the Stories That Bind Us, when we share our story that's keeping us trapped or keeping us stuck, we not only help ourselves break free, but we help everyone around us that can relate to that story break free as well. So super important that we share those stories. Okay, so that brings us to step 3. So the third step in learning what brings us joy or what makes us happy is gathering information. I say this a lot in my sessions with clients. If clients ask me, whether or not they should be in a relationship that they're in, I'm like, gather information, like note, do you feel good in the relationship? Do you feel happy? Everything is about just gathering information. That's information, right? Information and knowledge are powerful. It's powerful for us to know. So I have distinguished 2 different types of gathering information as it relates to finding the things that bring us joy. And one is internally. Oh, my censored light just went off, but you can still see me, hopefully. So one is internally. So when we are doing something that brings us joy, or when we see something that could potentially bring us joy, there's things that we feel emotionally, things that we feel physically, and things that we feel mentally that give us information, that signal that we are happy and it's bringing us joy. Or sometimes we may feel the sense of no time, and how that sense is another signal, an internal signal. This is something that brings me joy. Denise, thank you so much for sharing. You talked about your little joy, having little joy around eating, because there's a story or a fear around gaining weight. That is so honest and vulnerable. Thank you so much for sharing that on here. And I think, again, so many people can relate to that story. And I really appreciate you, Denise, being so specific about the story, because that's how sneaky some of these stories can be. That, some of them, yes, are general about not being enough or not being worthy. But then there's really intricate, specific stories that if we aren't aware of them, those are the ones that we can really bump up against, and they can become an obstacle in our lives to feeling more joy and bliss and healthier relationships. So that is a really good example, Denise. We can have fears about experiencing pleasure or joy in life, and have stories around that. So thank you for sharing that. So so I talked about internal messages, but there's also external messages. So the external messages are really when we get information from outside of ourselves, right? So there's the internal, which, like I said before, those are the emotions or mental things that can help us realize what brings us joy. Like if we can't stop thinking about something, I always like to say it's like something keeps knocking on my heart. I keep feeling called to do that. And it makes me really happy and excited to think about. That's all information, and important information to know. And sometimes we don't pause enough to note those things. External information will be more about something happening outside of you, that intrigues you and gives you information or a signal or a message that that's something that could bring you joy. So maybe you watch a movie and there's something that the character is doing in the movie that draws your attention, and you are really intrigued in trying to do whatever that is. Maybe you go to a music concert and you're watching someone sing and you think to yourself, I would really like to sing. These are external pieces of information that we can gather and help us in identifying what brings us joy. Is there anyone out there that wants to post a comment on either an internal piece of information that they know about something that brings them joy, or maybe there's something external? Maybe there's a movie or an article or someone else that you've witnessed doing something and you thought, I think that would make me happy, that I think that I would find a lot of joy in doing that as well. And I'm not talking about social comparison where we kind of compare ourselves to someone else and then put ourselves down because they're living a certain way. It may begin with that, but then I would want you to shift that and say, oh, I want that. That would bring me joy too. Organizing my kitchen that way. Isn't that funny? That's the thing I thought of. I'm obsessed with those like Instagram reels and things where people have all of those refrigerator organizers. And am I the only one here that feels that way? That brings me joy. I literally dream about like purchasing those refrigerator organizers. And they put like the music to it too, like the sound effects of them organizing, say, the strawberries in one container or all the yogurts in another container. Anyway, I kind of digress, but that is an example. That is a really good example coming from me. That is an external message and external information about something that brings me joy. Now, Denise, bringing back to what you said, I'm not pursuing the refrigerator organizer right now. Then you laughed and said, then do it. Right now, everything is, around my practice or my wow retreat. This is the stuff. This is the joy, because this brings me joy. Sharing all of this with you brings me a ton of joy. This is right now is what I am focusing on. So someday, and I'll be able to come back on here, I will get those refrigerator organizers, and I will feel very joyful in doing that. But it, again, does anyone out there want to share either an internal piece of information that they've gathered about something that brings them joy, or something external? Is there anyone out there that wants to share before I go on to the fourth? There's usually a delay, so I always like to pause, take a drink of water. But then the pause seems a little too long, and like that I'd be dragging everyone. So, okay. All right. Moving on. If it comes up later, let me know. The fourth step may seem strange, but stay with me. The fourth step is creating a wonder board. So we've heard a ton about vision boards, right? We know all about vision boards. We know how they help us manifest. They help us put our dreams in visual form, and the power of that. I just did a permission to dream challenge, and one of the steps was taking what we dream about and putting it into visual form, because there's so many research and studies that show that helps us make our dreams a reality. Well, a wonder board is a little bit different. So I am creating a wonder board, or want to create with all of you a wonder board, and help you create your own wonder boards as a way of learning what brings you joy. So those of you that know, when you create a vision board, again, I'm going to be talking about a wonder board, but when you create a vision board, you usually, if you do it electronically, you can use graphics like Canva and things like that to create a collage of images or words that help align you with what you want to manifest in your life. A wonder board is the other way that you may make a vision board is by just getting magazines, like old school, getting magazines, cutting pictures, cutting words out, and putting them on a poster board. A wonder board is doing that, but you are using the process of going through the different images and going through the different words to gather information. Like in step 3, you're gathering the internal information and the external information that you're getting by going through these different images and words to help you get clearer about what brings you joy. So if you are finding yourself really drawn to pictures of those refrigerator organizers, like that's clearly something that sparks your joy. That's something that lights you up. So Denise, you're talking about, swimming and traveling. When you're going through a magazine, I imagine when you see images of people swimming or images of people traveling, that sparks your joy, that lights you up. And that's all information. And one of the definitions of wonder is a desire to know more about something, to learn more about something. So wonder boards are this desire of knowing more about what lights you up, what sparks your joy. Okay, so Denise is sharing that you find joy in petting your cat, you feeling a comfy bed, being with your husband. So yeah, that's all really good information. And I imagine that you get intrinsic signals from all of those things. There's some sense of peace or joy that you feel intrinsically, and that gives you information about something that you really want. So that's it. So stating that you want to get clear about things that bring you joy, things that light you up. The second thing is being open to receiving joy. And that is an important step because that means that you need to identify, you need to make sure and clear the path of any stories. You need to illuminate and clear any stories that may be blocking you from receiving joy or receiving happiness. Then the third step is gathering information. So, really listening to the internal messages that we get when there's something that makes us happy or brings us joy. And then also paying attention to external messages that we receive that help us learn more about what brings us joy. And last but not least is a wonder board. And I actually, 1 week from today, 7:15 p.m. Monday, July 22nd. I'm going to put a link in the comments that shares a little bit more about it. I am hosting a free virtual, be just like this, live with the Illuminator, except I'm going to specifically focus on this wonder board. And so all you will need to do is show up. If you want to do it electronically, just have yourself set up in Canva or something like that. If you want to do it as a hard copy, you'd want to have poster board and magazines and glue and scissors. And I will guide you in a guided meditation and then also in just creating a wonder board. So I'm really excited about that. I hope you can make it. There's only 4 more minutes for our live for 25. So right now, all I have, Denise, is you. So I'm going to ask, do you want me to pull an oracle card for you, or would you like me to prescribe a song? So let me know, Denise, and I will do that in these final 3 minutes. We'll find out. Oh, okay. All right. So Vicky, you're here too. I'm happy that you're here too. So Vicky, I would love for you to also choose. So Denise, you can choose oracle card or song prescription, and Vicky, you can choose oracle card or song prescription. All right. So Denise would like a card. And Vicky, you can let me know. You would like a card too. Okay. All right. So let me see here. All right. I don't want to decide for you. So you can either, do you want from the divine beloved, or do you want from the healing with the angels? So Denise, I'll have you go first. Divine beloved or healing with the angels. Oh, JP, you're here too. JP, if you want a card pull too, I'll do it for you as well. So, but you guys just have to let me know if you want divine beloved or healing with the angels. All right, Vicky wants healing with the angels. I'm going to go ahead and read Vicky's first then. So this is for Vicky. Healing with the angels. And I'm just going to look for a general message for Vicky. General message. All right. Okay. All right. So this is wisdom for Vicky. And Vicky, your wisdom is, how cool is this? Romance. That's pretty perfect for someone who was recently engaged. So I think that's wonderful. So the angels are addressing and assisting you with your romantic needs. Ask for and accept the angels' help with your love life. This card signals that your angels have heard your appeals for romance. They acknowledge your heart's yearnings for love, and they have received and answered your requests. Now you will work in concert with the angels to guide you in specific ways to make sure your wish is granted. So how perfect is that? That's perfect. All right. So now, Denise, I'm going to look for specific information for you. So we're looking for specific information for Denise. Ooh, this is a good one, Denise. Dreams. Dreams. Okay. Pay attention to your dreams right now. Keep a dream journal. You are receiving important messages during your dreams. Sometimes you may wake up with the feeling that you have traveled or received instruction during your sleep. You wonder, why can't I remember my dreams? The messages and experiences of your dreams are never truly lost or forgotten. They are instead incorporated into your unconscious so that your higher self's wisdom and love govern your actions. That seems so perfect for this. And Denise, I'm wondering if you should ask your dreams what joy you should pursue, right? What joy you should pursue. And JP, I don't know if you're still on here, but I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to pull a card for you for whatever it is worth. So this is wisdom for JP. JP, those of you who don't know, he has Next Steps Academy, and he is an incredible, inspiring coach. So another person to definitely look out for. All right, Denise, so your dreams are outrageous. Okay, there you go. So this card is for JP. Any wisdom for JP? All right, JP, you got Guardian Angel. Guardian Angel. So your card says, your guardian angels want you to know how much they love you right now. Your angels' love is completely unconditional and all encompassing. You are not alone. You drew this card as a love letter from your guardian angels who want you to know we're right here. We have never left you and can never leave you. Your guardian angels say that you deserve their help and attention. There is nothing that you could have ever thought, said, or done that could ostracize you from your divine helpers. They never judge or abandon you for the mistakes you made. The angels are simply here to support you so that you can spiritually grow and help others. How perfect is that for you? That's so cool. Goosebumps. All right. Thank you guys for being here. And this was a wonderful live with the Illuminator. I truly, truly hope that you have more information about how to learn what brings you joy. It is so important to me, especially with what's happening, in life, and the world right now, that we find the things that bring us joy. And I didn't get into this, but I really do believe that when we're following the things that bring us joy, we are aligning with what we're meant to be doing. There is a reason why it makes our hearts sing. So it's really important to me to help people find those things, because I do believe we're meant to do things that bring us good, healthy joy and happiness. We are meant for that, and we deserve it. So again, if you want to do a wonder board with me this next week, you can learn a little bit more about that at this link. And I will be live again on Facebook and YouTube. So all you will just need to make sure you do is bring materials so that you can create a wonder board. You are so welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Those of you who didn't speak in the comments, thank you, Vicki, Denise, and JP, for doing a little shout out in the comments. It's just always nice. It energizes me to be able to be interacting with you. So I hope that was helpful to everyone, and I hope you all take good care, and wherever you are, stay safe, stay at a healthy temperature, stay cool, and take good care. And I hope you find your joy. Bye-bye.